I was born and raised into the electronic scene.
Yeah.
There was no other option, honestly.
Played for what, 2 million?
It's so many people. You have to understand that 30% of the crowd will see what's really happening on stage. The drone was the way that you could embrace everyone, so that we could be sure that everyone could experience that. It's very hard to break up the Brazilian market with like English songs. A lot of artists break up South America, but they don't break Brazil. I think that Brazil, you have to work very specifically.
Here we are. It's great, dude. We got to sync up more. We got to figure out more times to sync up. We'll do some more fun stuff. We'll make some cool content right now. We'll make some dope stuff. I want to come to your pre-carnival set next year.
Yeah.
I think it's only right, dude.
As I told you, like, it's gonna be a lifetime experience, and I can guarantee you won't have that experience anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I know, dude.
It's very unique, and also I would say that to be on the truck, you know, during the whole, like, that moment is something very magical, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone that I brought with me, like I said, I mean, I had this experience that I can't even describe to anyone. I just tell people you have to come here and feel it.
Dude, I gotta experience that. Just like seeing the videos and the energy of it is like insanity, bro. It's like insanity. The drone shots you posted, I saw a few other artists post things. Now each city has like different vibes to it, right? Like one city will have a bunch of trucks in the street, right? And then another city will have like the actual like festival or cultural aspect of it. Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so basically Carnival is this moment that we're really celebrating, you know, in like entire Brazil. And of course, we have some cities that we have those truck goings on the roads, which is very popular. I would say like Rio, São Paulo, Belo Horizonte now is getting super popular as well, Salvador. So you have this like for a long time already going on, but you didn't have that on the electronic side. So electronic, like I am like someone that was not supposed to be there because it was only like local music. And then like 7 years ago, I started to do this electronic in Salvador, and it kind of worked well. Before me, we had David Guetta, I think in 2011 or 9 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's something new. And honestly, like you really break up this barrier, because I think that in my life, like in my career in Brazil is really like, I would say maybe I play 5% of my time to the electronic crowd and 95% for the overall crowd. Like, you know, it's so Carnival is one of those moments, but you also have a lot of electronic parties going on. Like Dom Dolla went there to play in La Rock.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think also Rufus. No. Yeah, I don't remember now. But you know what I mean? You have a lot of like Green Valley, La Rock. You're having those parties also. We're celebrating at that moment. So you have everything happening at the same time.
Does everyone just like take off work for a full week? Like there's no work, there's nothing?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of people also work during the Carnival.
Yeah, technically you're working.
And there are a lot of people that are also like, you know, making money during the Carnival, also hotels and all of that, because it's this moment that, you know, it's very cultural. And I think that it's very necessary as well, because people in Brazil, they work a lot, you know, like I saw some comments say like, hey, like how are those people just like near to each other? Or like how can they just be comfortable in those situations? Like so many people, but yeah, they're doing that every day when they go to the tube station, when they go to, you know, public transportation. And life's not only about work, you know, they also deserve that moment to be there and, you know, and have fun and celebrate that moment. So I think it's a moment that, you know, all of us really recognize as something super special in our country.
Yeah, honestly, it's a really beautiful thing, because I feel like here in America, like it's really like admirable when someone's just working all the time, you know, and like, and when you take time off to like enjoy, like it's almost like, I wouldn't say frowned upon, but kind of, to tell you the truth, man. Like people forget to take a step back. That's why I'm fascinated by Brazil and then South American culture and European culture as well. Like I feel like people know how to like sit back and enjoy themselves a little more.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting because I feel that we have like South America and we have Brazil.
Oh, so you're saying that like as a culture, Brazil is very different from the other countries around it?
Very different, very different. Like we're like, even like not only the language barrier, which is like we all speak Portuguese and the whole South America speaks Spanish, which is like, you know, different colonization. They came from Spain and we came from like Portugal back in days when they divided South America in two. Like, okay, we on here and you guys on that. But I feel that like, for example, okay, if you go to top 50 Spotify Brazil, 95% are local songs. Yeah, it's very hard to break up the Brazilian market with like English songs, or even reggaeton doesn't really work so well. Of course, we had Bad Bunny now in Brazil, which like he's super on hype, so it went super well because it's more about the movement as well, you know. But it's not like like something cultural. We have reggaeton in Brazil, for example. You know, we have a lot of local songs that have funk, and we have sertanejo and all of that. So I think that Brazil, you have to work very specifically. You know, so a lot of artists break up South America, but they don't break Brazil. And Brazil is a continental country, so you have like so many cities, so many. It's so large. I could spend the whole year there, and I would have party every weekend.
Yeah, how, because most of your songs are English speaking, right? So how are you able to break into that 5%?
I don't know.
That's crazy, man.
It is. I think honestly, it's because we as a Brazilian, we always had that mindset that, you know, everything that comes from outside is better, is superior, and that we are inferiors. You know, we're a third world country. Like, people really try to put that in our heads. So when we have a Brazilian that is kind of crossing the frontiers and conquering like some space in the world, we kind of get proud of it, you know, like everyone embrace it. So you can feel that like Brazilian, they're very loyal to it. And when I'm jumping on stage and I'm like a main stage of big festival in America, I don't feel I'm by myself. I'll always feel that I'm there with my people, you know. And we have this feeling like I play here, and then if I say something in Portuguese, people get so happy with that, you know. So I think that was the main thing, like 7 years ago, why I started to get this kind of, you know, I would say people were supporting me, even though I was doing English, because I remember that I released Hear Me Now with Ziba and Bruno Martini, and it was like the most streamed Brazilian streamed songs in the world. So people started to relate. A lot of people didn't even know that I was Brazilian.
Yeah, I remember when that track came out. I remember. So it's almost like a cult, dude. Like, to tell you the truth, man, like it's so cool to see that they're so proud of an artist from their country like blowing up, and then they like stand behind that. Like we were talking about this earlier, like you're obviously one of them, and then you were recognizing like a few other Brazilian artists that are starting to break out in the US, right? And like, who are like some in specific that you'd say that you think are like really starting to break out and kill it that are Brazilian artists?
I think we're living honestly the best moment of like Brazilian DJs crossing the frontiers and going to the international market. I would say, of course, Vintage Culture, Moshak, Beltran. You have now, like, for example, that song with Clune, Stephanie, yeah, super happy. It's with Intro as well, which is a Brazilian. I didn't even know that, you know. You have also Rage Band that's also doing a lot of like, you don't have like Bhaskar, Leo, like you have Victor Low, Mas.
Yeah, Plasmatic,
Antidotes. I mean, there's really like Anna.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things happening, and that's amazing. Like, honestly, we're living the best moment, and I think that's so important for us. And I feel that also, like, as I was telling you, like, Beltran and Moshak, they're becoming so popular here, and like really having this respect that kind of reflected for them in Brazil. Like, in a way where like even the Brazilians were not understanding how big they were. And that's very good.
Yeah, you were saying that you were starting to recognize it when you came here to Miami and you were out, right? And someone was saying that, talking about other artists.
Because beforehand it was like, it was only me and Vintage Culture, and of course we had beforehand like Gibarato, which is a legend. But I'd say like for a while it was me and Vintage Culture, and I went to a bar here in Miami, and the guy said, I know a very popular DJ from Brazil, and I say, who is it? I say, Moshak. I say, oh wow, something's going on. And that was actually when I realized that Moshak was actually bigger here than in Brazil.
Crazy.
Yeah, which now of course he's also super popular in Brazil. And honestly, you know what I really like about Moshak and Vintage and Beltran and all those guys is because they are very unique, and they have a lot of identity, and they do what they really believe, you know. They're not really going stuff for hype and surfing around that, and they're like this Gen Z, you know, so they're also not really worried about like getting into the game, you know, the music industry. It's amazing. They're free, you know.
Yeah, for real. It's really cool to see. Like, I admire the Brazilian artists so much, and it just fascinates me, especially with you. Like, you have so many big songs, and you've like globally kind of taken off, right? So like, what got you into becoming an artist and producing and DJing? Like, what was your inspiration?
Did you know that my parents are DJs?
You know, I actually saw it online, and then I asked my ChatGPT, and my ChatGPT told me it wasn't true.
It wasn't true.
That's what ChatGPT told me. It wasn't true. So if ChatGPT's watching this, you're wrong, man.
You're so wrong. Yeah. Actually, yeah. So my dad is a DJ, my mom is a DJ, and they are like the pioneers of the psytrance scene in Brazil.
What?
Yeah. My dad also runs a festival called Universo Paralelo. parallel universe in Brazil for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's like a Burning Man, but in the beach with no sunstorm.
I kind of like that better, to tell you the truth.
But it's like more focused on psytrance, right? It's like you have the house stage as well, but psytrance is the main thing.
Yeah.
And basically, when I was very young, I moved to Amsterdam with my mom. I remember that we were illegal, living in Amsterdam, so kind of like we had to live into a squat. Have you heard about squat? Like when you have like a building that's abandoned, so you can there and occupy.
Oh yeah.
So we used to live in a abandoned hospital with a hippie community, very like open-minded. Yeah, my mom used to work as a cleaner in a club called Trans Buddha, and this club used to play like psytrance and stuff. So that's how she got approached with the psytrance. My aunt, she was dating, like she was married with a Yosh, which he has a label, right?
Yeah, label.
So back in days, the new generation don't know that, but in order for you to listen to music, you need to have the proper vinyl.
The vinyl, yeah.
The vinyl, sorry.
I got you.
You couldn't go on internet, just play it. It didn't exist. So my mom started to have those vinyls, and she would bring it to Brazil with my dad. So they broke up when I was 4, but they were like kind of having this music. So they were starting to play in Brazil and started super small.
Wow. Wait, so are you talking about like the early, like the 90s and the 2000s? Because I was talking to Oliver Heldens like 2 months ago, and he was explaining to me how the rave scene used to be highly illegal in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, and then the government ended up coming to some sort of agreement where they just legalized like raves, because raves were illegal like a lot of other places, and Amsterdam was one of the first places to legalize raves.
Yeah, exactly. They were always super open-minded. I remember that Trans Buddha was very focused also on the LGBTQ community. So it had like, I think the electronic music, the rave culture, it also had this place where they could go there and feel safe, I think. So it's been always like, like I was born and raised into the electronic scene.
Yeah.
There was no other option, honestly. Like, actually, I started to do international relations in university because at some point in my life, I started really to like have a lot of financial difficulties. It's super complicated to live through art. And I told my dad, like, listen, like, I'm seeing the world around us, everyone's struggling with money, all of that. I just want to have more stability, in my life. So I want to do international relations. I want to go to university and stuff. And my dad actually told me, like, listen, if I had your talent, I would just focus on my career. And if I had your talent, I would be way better than you are. So if you have to abandon something, quit the university. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the last try. So I created my project called Alok in 2010. And since then, it started to work out.
What a story, man. What a story. What would you say? Oh, we actually talked about this. You'd say your breakout track was with Bruno, right?
Yeah.
What would you say is your breakout track?
Very interesting, because before that, I thought I already had a lot of breakdown records.
Really?
Yeah, but on that moment of the career, because I remember I had like top 1, 2, 3 Beatport in 2009 on my psytrance project, which I used to play with my twin brother, which was called Logica. So I started with Alok and Bhaskar, and then we created Logica, and then after that, like, we broke up, and then I came Alok, and then he came Bhaskar again. But I was like, for me, that was a moment I was hyping already.
Yeah.
And then after that, like, I did other songs that like worked super well, and I was listening to so you know what I mean? Like, but of course, the song that kind of broke me outside the bubble of the electronic scene was Hear Me Now with Bruno Martini and Ziba. But the same year I released that, even before releasing, I was already like top 25 on DJ Mag, which means a lot back in days for a Brazilian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people complain about DJ Mag, and I understand.
A lot of people complain about DJ Mag.
You know what I mean? And I understand completely. But if you think about it, being a Brazilian, where like you don't have the proper visibility and the space on the international market, that was kind of a place where you could have more visibility on your work.
Yeah.
So the Brazilians were putting a lot of effort to be there, because it was a way that we could get a vehicle to be seen. You know what I mean? So like in a lot of countries, I remember that back in days, China, like they were not using Facebook and none of that. So in order for them to book the artists, they went to the list of top 100 DJ Mag, and they could book over there.
That's how they were doing the bookings, is by looking at the DJ Mag ranking.
I was performing 2014, 15 in China, getting good feedback. East. Mexico was also popular, you know. So it's a very different world when you think about the world, you know. It's not only
Crazy.
Yeah.
Outside of like, you know, we're in dance music, right? We're in the culture, but people that aren't as heavily, I guess, paying attention and involved, like that ranking is so important. You hit like the number 3 spot in 2017 too, right?
You know what I mean? Like, it's, if you don't care about it, it doesn't make difference in your career at all.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, you know. Like, why? Like, I understand honestly, but as I was telling you, like, I remember that in China, like, they were not even announcing the name of DJ Pop. They were announcing top something DJ Mag, because people in China didn't even know who were the artists. But it was interesting the way they're doing. So of course, like, we didn't have a lot of opportunities back in days as a Brazilians. Like, so that was a good place to be a spotlight, you know, to try to. And I remember, like, first time I played in the main stage of Tomorrowland, like the first Brazilian to play at the main stage of Tomorrowland, the first Brazilian to play at Sphere. I think it's okay. I think, like, it's only great if I'm not the last, you know?
Yeah.
Being the first for me doesn't mean much.
Making a path.
Yeah, exactly. So, and of course, I just do what I do because artists open up the path for me beforehand. You know?
Yeah.
And even like when you think about what happens with me nowadays in Brazil, where I get out of the electronic segment and go to this overall pop world, it's because David Guetta did that before, you know, in Brazil. And people like, of course, not only David, but also I remember Fatboy Slim. He did like also Bob Sinclair, Tiesto, you know, and of course Avicii. So Chainsmokers as well did that. So what I'm saying is that I think that I really appreciate all the work that people do. I'm gonna give you an example now what's happening, okay, in my career. So I used to do this Brazilian bass back in days. That was my style, that was what I created. And not only like that wasn't what I created, but that was what I was doing. A lot of Brazilian were doing as well, but we didn't have the name for that because every time we were saying like this is a techno, something techno, they was like this is not techno, come on. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna give the name of it. It's gonna be called Brazilian bass. So it became something super popular. But when I was trying to play on those like in Europe, this kind of sound, it didn't work. And then the DJ was playing like EDM, like was it called Big Room? After me was just smashing me. I couldn't do anything. Like, or before me was playing those EDM
like Dimitri Vegas and like Mike.
I couldn't do anything. Like, you know, it was just taking over everything, this EDM, Big Room and stuff. So I was trying just to survive. It was so complicated. I was being smashed. I remember like I was playing Portugal, where they speak Portuguese. And Diego Miranda was mentioned to play after me and someone played before me. And the guy before me just smashed me. When I started to play, people started to say like, get out. Like the crowd, get out. I was playing my sound, Brazilian bass. And for me to be for my very first time in Portugal, you know, a lot of expectation, all of that. And then I called Diego Miranda, hey, can you just jump in here? I can't, like, they don't want me here. And Diego Miranda went there, started, I think, with Tremor from Martin Garrix. And bam, one of my thoughts again. But the guy before me finished with Tremor. I was like, man, come on. Like, I just being smashed by this Tremor all the time. Like, and then I said, like, okay, if I want to survive in this market, I have to change my style. Yeah. Otherwise, like, it will. So if I'm having all those opportunities, I just have to embrace them, you know? So I changed my style. Yeah. I was really changing I was playing something in Brazil and something in Europe. You know, I was changing and something else in China, because also China and Asia was very like hard and it's still very hard. So you have to adapt yourself. But now everything is changing. Of course, with the internet, everything gets more like into everyone's. But when I went, I was like, just like, you know what? Like, I think with all those artists now, John Summit, Mel P, Dom Dolla, Fish, and all those guys, they're doing such a cool sound, which was like what I used to do, like this Brazilian bass. I felt like, okay, it's bringing back my confidence to do here as well what I always wanted to do, because I was like putting some of them and then putting more idea, like more hard stuff, like, you know. And then now, because of those guys and because how they are just changing the game again, I'm just feeling that I'm in the best moment, because what they're doing is what I really know how to do, and it's really like my soul, my veins, my DNA. So I think that I'm just living the best moment of my career in the international level, because I'm just doing what I believe, you know.
Wow, man, that's crazy how it has come full circle now to this moment.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about it, how dance music, you truly believe this. I believe this too is at its highest. You think it's the best it's ever been? You know, I thought the 2010 to 14 EDM boom was dope too, but this is amazing right now.
Yeah, you know, I played with Dom Dolla ADC 2022.
Yeah.
And he played before me. And I saw his set and I felt it was just okay. It was a good warm-up. It was okay, really. I'm very honest. So okay, fine. And then I played after him, it was amazing stuff. I think he was like, and then I saw he just blowing up. I said, okay, honestly, I can't believe he's blowing up with that set that he did. Like, it can't be. Like, I'm talking about festivals in Europe. I'm not talking about a club where you can just do something less energetic and you know, it's different.
Yeah.
So I went to watch him at Untold.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was so impressed. I was like, wow, now he's really understanding, you know, like he really got it. Like he's really shaking the dance floor.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard to play off. Like, you know, he's really putting a lot of energy. My wife were there, my sister were there. They were singing, like he was playing for her, for them, and for the crowd, and for me. And I was like super impressed how sophisticated and how good he became. And then I went to Canada and I played, and it was like amazing. It was like I said like, oh, wow, it was incredible. My set, I smashed it. It was great. I was so happy. And then Subtronic came after me, and I just disappeared. I was like, okay, like what I did actually didn't happen. This guy just run over me and just killed it. It was like, I was so impressed with Subtronics. Like, I was like, wow. And I didn't know how strong it was. And people were like dancing with the head. Yeah. Okay, so I was performing at ADC Orlando, and I was in the lineup doing back-to-back with Green Velvet. And then after that, I think it was James Hype, Soft Tucker. And then he had like Subtronics, and who was closing Dom Dolla. I said, I have to be here to watch it. Like, what he's gonna do after Subtronics, because if I had to play after Subtronics on that Canada party, I would be just fucked, you know. I wouldn't do. So I have to watch it. So I stayed there to watch what Dom Dolla was going to do, and I really enjoyed Subtronics. It was super nice. I really like it's, but of course he did a different set.
Yeah,
what I did in Canada, and he did something more with more concepts, you know, like different. But when the Dollar got in, he smashed it. He smashed it.
Yeah,
he really understood, you know. So, and it's amazing because what he's playing, what John Summit's playing, the best set that I saw at Coachella was Mau P.
Mau P, right? He's one of my favorite artists right now.
It was fantastic. And I was walking around Coachella, I don't want to say names, but I was seeing some bands and stuff, and the sound was okay, like it's nice. But when I went to Sahara with that music playing, it was so good, the quality, and he was playing, everything was so perfect, the lighting, the production, and the music. I was like, wow. And you know, and it was really like something that it gave me back again the confidence that what he's playing is what I used to do. No, so I have to insist, because my set at Coachella was also similar, that basic, but he just gave me more confidence. So I'm very happy, and I'm very proud of those guys, and I think those guys are really helping me out, you know.
Yeah.
And they are just amazing, because Mau P used to be Maurice West.
Yep.
He's not here since yesterday. He's here, like, you know, he really understands about the market. And when he had the opportunity, he really embraced that, and he's super professional. He's in a professional level. Yeah. Dom Dolla has been doing this for the last, I don't know, 10 years. Even longer.
Yeah.
So he's also not bullshit, you know. Those guys really, and John Summit as well, like, those guys are changing the game.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of them. Fisher.
Killing it. Them specifically, them three in the last like 4 years has been crazy. Has been absolutely crazy to see.
They deserve it. Really.
Yeah.
You know who I think for me has the best sets that I watch? Like Swedish House Mafia.
Dude, I love them.
Nothing is compared with, like, what they do is like it's a lesson. Like, if you're getting to the EDM world, you should listen to what those guys play live. It's the whole storytelling is.
It's incredible. I saw Axwell play like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It was incredible. He plays that In My Mind mashup with Dreamer, and it's so good. He's incredible. He's a professional work, but he's been doing it since the 90s, right? Like the late 90s.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are legend. Even the song we were just listening here, Tell Me Why, it's his song.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Those guys, they are in the game for such a long time. They changed the game so many times, and they will always change it. And they're the kings.
For real.
They're the kings for you. Of course, Guetta as well, Tiesto as well, Army Van Buuren.
Calvin Harris, can't forget Calvin.
Calvin Harris, man, Calvin Harris is the guy that like, it's like everyone would, like Calvin Harris, everyone knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were talking about his show earlier when he came to Brazil. That was insane.
Yeah.
He's got mad love everywhere. I got into dance music because of Calvin Harris. His 18 Months album was one of the first like dance albums I ever really listened to. I was younger, but yeah.
Calvin Harris is one of those guys that he could really put like 1 million, like, like a lot of people, because everyone kind of knows him out of the electronic scene. Calvin Harris is, like my grandma would know.
Yeah, no, straight up. It's crazy. I mean, he came down there, he played for like over 1 million people, but you do that in Brazil, like you've done it twice. You played for what, 2 million, 2.5?
More than twice.
You've done it more? You played for more than 2 million people?
No. More than 2 million people. No, more than 1 million people. If
You're acting like that's still a lot of people. That is insane, because you did it 2 times this past year, right? Over 2 million people?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many people that you can't really understand,
I don't get it.
You realize afterwards on the shootings, when you see the images, and then you say, okay, it really had 2 million people. But beforehand, you can't really get it. But that's why I created a stage on a pyramid 32 meters high, so that in 360, so that when I do the pyramid, I can see a lot. Like, so this show that I do by myself that I did in Brazil, we put 1 million, also Rio, and I did also in Belém. We're gonna do now in Teresina. This is the one that's my own stage only. I am the only one who plays because it doesn't fit any other artist. But this one, I can really feel the wave, and I can see 1 million people. So that's why we designed this stage.
It's crazy. What's it like up there, looking out at the sea of people like that?
It's the best feeling in the world. But that's what I'm saying. Like, of course, you can't relate with one person. You always relate as a big wave, and I love this adrenaline. It's something that I don't know, like when you start to Calvin Harris sent me a message saying it must be crazy to do those shows like every week. And I said, like, you never get used to it.
It looks like that. My boy over there actually had a good question earlier, because we were looking at your footage. How do you get a speaker system to go that far out to that many people? How do you do that?
So you have delays towers. So you have to put a lot of delays so that you go until the end of the beach, or like the pyramid, you do also the 360, you do a lot of delays. That's the only way. You have to put.
That's the only way, right? Yeah, because we were curious about it. We were like, how do you even get the speakers out that far to people? Because it's so many people. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, you just you can't. People wouldn't hear you.
Yeah, you can't, right? So with your pyramid shows too, I feel like you really embrace like the recent technology of drones, and like how amazing they are with like what you can do with drones. Like, what inspired you to start using that in your production?
When you're doing a show for more than 100,000 people, that I do very often in Brazil, you have to understand that 30% of the crowd will see what's really happening on stage. All the like 7,000 will like be far away. They can't really understand. So the drone was a way that you could embrace everyone, and everyone could have the experience on the show. So that's how we developed, the synchronization of drones with time code, fireworks in the show, so that we could be sure that everyone could experience that.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty crazy how those drones work and how they sync up with your music. It's incredible to watch.
I think that's the magic about it, which is like what you just said about synchronizing the music, the effects, and and doing the right music for it. Because I've been through like some drone shows in Saudi and Dubai, and it's just there for free out of the blue, and if it doesn't make effect, it doesn't have an effect to people. Like, people just don't care about it. But if you bring the atmosphere, the music, soundtrack, and bring everyone for you, and then have the drones as another element, it becomes magic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so like you've been a part of insane productions too. I haven't been to the Sphere yet, but you just recently played there. Right? Like we said, you're the first Brazilian DJ to play at the Sphere, which is dope. Congrats. And like, what was it like being in there, setting up the visuals and stuff? Like,
but like, it's because Illenium, he was such a gentle with me, and he invited me to perform.
I love that guy.
Because we did the song together, like I didn't have to sell tickets. He was sold out for him, he didn't need me there. He did it because he's a gentle, and his show was amazing. Honestly, it was like, there were some moments that it was very impressive, very impressive. And I feel that Sphere is one of those places that you have to do something very specific for it. It's not like a normal show. So you have to use all of that, and it's super challenging. It's super expensive as well.
Yeah.
You know,
It's crazy. It's crazy how expensive it is. So did you designed your visuals too? For he designed them?
actually, his visual was reactive. So the way the music was hitting, the content was reacting to it.
What?
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think it's called Unreal or something like that, which is like as soon as like the music hits, the drop comes, the content like
Yeah.
reacts to it.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you collabed with Millennium on a song too. You've collabed with a few American artists. Who would you say are your favorite American artists to work with?
I didn't collab with many Americans, honestly.
Oh, you did the Chainsmokers,
Yeah, Chainsmokers.
Millennium.
And a remix with Green Velvet side piece, and all of them, they're amazing. Honestly, they're all super nice. I would say that I was very impressed with Green Velvet. Really, he is such a nice guy. Have you met him?
Not yet. I heard he's a sweetheart.
He is. He's like, he has a huge heart, and also it was interesting because I was talking with him, discussing about playing some songs, and he said like, I don't think about this song because I said like, why? I said like, because I'm Christian. And then I said like, wow, I mean, me too. Can you explain me more about this song? Because this song talks about this. So okay, interesting. And I wasn't expecting that for him, but he's very like into it, you know.
Oh, so he's making a song or doing a song a certain way because of his faith.
I think he's actually not playing some songs that affects what he believes on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That probably would make sense why his sets are so good. I didn't see you guys go back to back, but I saw him go back to back with John Summit at the EDC Las Vegas main stage. Did you see that? Were you there for that?
Yeah.
For the Sunrise set?
It was very good.
It was incredible, that set. When they played that Shake and Pop John Summit remix, I was going off.
I never forgot also the song they opened. I think it was Cassian. Well, super good. And it was amazing. He was super humble with me as well. I didn't get it for granted. I wasn't booked for ADC Orlando, and he was. And after my set at Coachella with Key Part Human, we had like trying to develop something to ADC, but they had no slot anymore. So they offered Green Velvet if he was okay to have me as a back-to-back. He said yes. So you know what I mean? Like a lot of artists wouldn't say yes.
Yeah.
And he's really amazing. So yeah. But yeah, I mean all of them. Chainsmokers now he's married with a Brazilian.
Yeah.
True. And side piece, they're super.
They're the funniest dudes ever. They're like the silliest guys I've ever met in my life. It's tough to have a serious conversation with them. They're just cracking jokes the whole time. I did an interview with them once. You ever see the show South Park?
Exactly.
They reference South Park the whole time. Yeah. I couldn't even.
I was going to say like American Pie, but South Park.
South Park is what they were making jokes about the whole time. It was so funny. We're doing that at a radio interview another time. But you've played honestly all over the world. You played festivals all over the world. What would you say is your favorite country, outside of Brazil to play shows at? And what is your favorite festival you've ever played?
Oh man, I can't tell. Honestly, I can't because I wouldn't be fair with myself.
True. True, I get it.
There's so many special places. As I said, the world is so unique and beautiful and so diverse, and you can be like, I'll give you an example, okay?
Yeah.
Tomorrowland last year, they had that fire stuff
the main stage fire tragedy.
And then I was playing again at the same place, same venue, but we were just writing completely different story because what happened, it was the best vibe I could ever feel at Tomorrowland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that moment was so magical, even though they didn't have that stage.
Yeah.
But that moment was so unique and so special.
Yeah.
Even though you're in the same place, same festival, same country, so it's just a different way of feeling it. So yeah, I can't say I've just played now also ADC Mexico. It was the best so far.
Was it crazy?
Amazing. I mean, ADC they really know what they're doing. They really know how to make people, as your friend was saying, right? He was into hip hop.
Yeah, right here he was into hip hop.
Then he went to ADC and then he said, that changed my mind. And now I start to like EDM.
Yeah, talking about Logan, by the way. Logan changed his mind. The man behind the camera right there.
Yeah, I think EDC shaped Mexico, the culture of EDM in Mexico, which I didn't think it was strong before. I used to play a lot of like a long time ago in Mexico City, and it wasn't, people are way more educated, way sophisticated. They know what, they're really into it. Mexico is really, really good.
Yeah, no, I've never been to EDC Mexico. Like I've seen clips. It just looks, the energy there looks insane. The crowd.
It's one of the hardest crowd.
Really? To play to?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
It's one of the hardest crowd you can ever face it. But once you conquer them, they're gonna give you everything. They're gonna give you stuff that you wouldn't believe. You cannot find anywhere else.
Yeah.
But you have to be prepared.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete complete sense. So, what are you excited about for 2026? You just did Carnival, we're in the beginning of the year basically, man. So that's why I'm asking you, like, what do you got going on the rest of the year?
I'm gonna tell you what it's really like. What I think the biggest challenge of my career, and which is like finding the balance between the tour and my family.
Yep.
And my family's here with me now in Miami, so I'm really enjoying it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I'm planning everything with them so that, because at some point I was like, it doesn't matter if I'm number one or not in the world. What matters is if I'm number one for them. What matters, like, you know what I mean? Like, I honestly, like, really have to, I don't want my kids to see his dad on socials and like follow him on the social. I want to be present, and I want to also heal myself and heal everything that I have to heal on my childhood through them, honoring my dad and my mom, but through them. And it's been like such an amazing journey, and it's interesting to see also how they're shaping me, how they're changing me, and have my wife also like supporting it. So I think anything that I will do now, which of course I would say, for example, I'm releasing this Rave the World, which I launched at Copacabana. Yep. And this Rave the World is a concept where it's very interesting, bro. Like, I did 34 last year, and it was the first time in my life that I realized that I wasn't part of the new generation anymore. And to have that awareness and feeling is something that sometimes it takes a bit, like, you can't, like, you don't want to face that. Because I was always the 20s, where we're changing the world and all of that. And then I was 34, and then I'm seeing the people of 20s, and they're doing, you know what I mean? It's a different generation, and it really is. So I was like looking like, how can I still be connected with the new generation through my electronic, like my music? Because I am very connected through Free Fire, which is a game, a super popular game called Free Fire, which it's not really popular in the US. It's very popular in Asia, South America, Brazil, India, stuff. And I'm very connected with the new generation there. But with the music side, it's super important. So I was discussing with Fabian, which is my creative director, about what could we launch, as a brand for a show and all of that, based on the rave culture, because where I came from, my parents, all of that. So we were discussing, okay, let's rave a new world, blah 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 blah. Amazing. Okay, we got it. So I went to his daughter, said, like, what do you think about this? And Luana said, like, honestly, we're tired about like listening you guys saying that you guys have a simple solution to change the world, and like, like, you always like change, like, you guys fucked up with the world, now you want like us to heal it and to save it, you know what I mean? Like, we just want to live in it, you know what I mean? And like, the expectations that the new generation had, the Gen Z, is completely different from us. We had that mind that we could change the world through the events, life, unite, we are the world and all of that, and we failed, let's be honest. And the new gen, like the Gen Z, they're just looking at it differently. They just like, so it's like, you know what, you're so right, and I feel so cringe now. I'm so sorry about what I just said. You're right, like, it's not a new world. It's not a new, like, not it's about like, let's rave the world. Let's get what we learned with the raving culture, which is the plur, diversity, respect, unity, love, and let's bring that to the society, and let's rave this world. So that's maybe the best way we can do to heal the world, is like raving it.
No, I love it. I mean, I'm about that life, so I'm totally in.
Everything that I do in my career, I need to find a meaning why I'm doing that, like, even the concept we did at Coachella, Keep Art Human, was a statement about what was going on with like all of that. And now this Rave the World, because at some moment in my life, I had everything that people said that it's a success, which is like fame, popularity, blah blah blah, and I had like a huge ego, and I felt that I was the one, I was the man. And that's why I really understand when some artists come and start to show up, because they have to pass through this moment, as I also did, which you think you are a boss, and like you start really like not really even to respect the people that were there doing stuff, because you think you're the hot stuff. And when I got everything, I just felt into a huge emptiness. Like, I felt that I was so depressed, because if that was the meaning of life had no meaning for me anymore. And I was a atheist for a long time.
An atheist?
Atheist.
Yeah.
I was a rebel about like, if God exists, why so much hate? Why so war? Why all that? And then I was living this depressive moment. A friend of mine told me about going to indigenous community, and I went there. I just didn't know that I had to get like 3 flights, 13 hours in a row, 9 hours in a small canoe. I got there. It was interesting experience, because we have the mindset that we are more developed culture and they're less. And as soon as I was there, actually that doesn't really exist. exists. It's just different values and goals. And while I was doing songs for like working on top 10 beatport, they were doing songs for healing. So that really changed the way I was also dealing with my art. After that, a friend of mine also said like, hey, listen, I think I have a project in Africa, Mozambique, and I want you to go there and visit. I think maybe that could be something for... I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go. Because I was just trying to find inspiration, you know, for my life. And I went there, and that was the life. I really had the life-changing experience there, because I met a old woman, and she was blind of two eyes. She was like tight in her stomach for the last 3 days because she for not feel hunger. And then she was like saying that she was praying to God that someone could go there and help her. And I told the translator, say, tell her that God doesn't exist, because if God exists, he abounded her. Just tell her, please. And then he told her, and then she actually denied, said, no, I know what I'm saying. I'm praying to God, and I know that he will send someone to help me and this or that. And that moment I realized that I was the biggest miserable there. And she, with all of that conditions, she had way more faith than I. And I realized that God never abandoned her. We did. Just look back in history. And that moment for me, like, I was the first time that I really understood like God was, like what God was. It was just like, just being so, he was embracing me in that moment. And for that moment I said, you know what, I can't change the world, but I can't change their world. So I started this project called Fraternity Without Borders with them. I started to help them. I already donated more than 6 million, and we have more than 20,000 kids nowadays.
Dude, that's amazing.
And by the way, we brought her to the doctor, and she had cataracta. So actually she did the surgery, and she could
see again?
She could see again.
No way. Because of what you raised with it?
No, because I mean, she could see again because she was blind, but she had like cataracta, which is like a disease that you can do a surgery and you can heal. So it's not blind when you're born. So you became like, so she was blind for like the last 10 years. I don't know how many years, but this was after 1 year when she saw me for the first time.
Oh my God.
Because now, you know, and then she could see me.
That's amazing.
And this is for me why like I do what I do, you know. So I found my institute Alok, and like for me, in order to do like what I do, success, all of that, I just have to really, you know, try to make this world a better place. And then when I was invited to become the character of Free Fire, as I told you, in 2019, they asked me which superpower I wanted to have. So like, is it possible to heal people? As I learned with it. And then they said, yes, but are you sure it's a battle royale game? So yes, I am. So what happened was that my character became the bestseller. Not because I'm a DJ, not because of my music, just because the superpower changed the dynamic of the game. And what happened was that I donated 100% of my royalties because I wanted to heal inside and outside. That's how I created my institute. That's how we donate to Africa and all of that. So my life is really about like just using my career to try to make this world a better place, you know.
That is incredible, man. That is the mission that you're on.
Yeah, that's my mission.
It's incredible to find meaning in that too. I saw at Tomorrowland you talked to excuse me if I pronounce his name wrong. Sadhguru?
Sadhguru, yeah.
I watch his clips all the time and his like teachings and what he does. Like, how are you and him able to relate to each other? Like,
he's amazing. I will tell you like very good things that I learned that day with him.
Yeah.
So first of all, what is a guru?
Yeah.
Right? Like basically, he won't tell you what you want to hear. He will just tell you what you need. It's basically, think about it. You have a very dirty room, a lot of mess. He's just gonna turn on the light and you can see what you have.
Interesting.
That's what the guru does. He turns on the light to you for you can see what's wrong with it, but you have to fix it. He won't clean it for you.
Yeah.
The second thing is like, there's like, for example, this ring here, I bought it from Leonardo DiCaprio for $1 million.
That one right there?
Yeah, this one here. Actually, it's not true. It's a joke.
I was about to say, dude,
it's $100. But as soon as I told you that,
playing it cool there.
but as soon as I told you that, you started to look at this ring differently.
100%. Yeah.
So it's about like the stories that we carry on is the way we look the world. The world's not actually what is here. It's the way you interpreted it with a storytelling. So it's all about that. Like, you know, so different. Like if I put a 6 here, you will see a 9. I will see a 6. And we're gonna debate for the rest of the day, which is a 6, and for you it's a 9. We have to change positions to understand differently, or try to ask you what, you know, how, like, you know what I mean? Like my stepmother, she sees a doll and she starts to cry because in her childhood she didn't have it. You know, but my daughter, when she sees it, she becomes like, she's so happy. So it's how like you have all your traumas. That's how we're gonna see the world, and how you're gonna put all your frustrations, your love or hate in the world. world, you know. So that's also a super important lesson. And the third lesson, which is amazing, is like, in the end of the day, don't tell me what you believe. I don't care. Just show me how you treat people and I'll tell you what you believe. That's the point, you know. So it's a lot of dogmas and this and that. I don't care. Just show me how you treat people and I'm gonna tell you what you believe.
Yeah.
So I think those were the most important lessons that I've learned with him, you know, during this moment, because it's all about that. And then when people insist, like say like, why do I have those kind of thoughts? Because of this. But it's like, because you're dumb. I just turning on your light, just seeing the mess. It's your mess, you know.
Wow. That is such a powerful teaching, and it's really just about rewiring your brain and how you're seeing things in perspective.
I mean, that's how I interpreted what he was saying. Maybe people did differently, but that's how I kind of, you know, like, he didn't talk about the ring. He didn't talk, I'm just giving you examples. But
No, absolutely. It was a really good example. I completely understood what you were saying after that. And yeah, I looked at your ring and I did think it was $1 million at first. I was like, what is this doing in my apartment right now? You know, did someone follow you here? like, dude.
But yeah, it's maybe some guy would believe and would buy it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Hey, you can upcharge it.
I wouldn't use it. I would donate it.
No, I hear you. Wow, man, it is super amazing, all this beautiful stuff you've done with your career, to tell you the truth. Shout out to you. Much respect to you.
It's been I mean, I'm 34, but I have a lot of miles already, you know. Since I was 12, I'm playing. So, and I really think that it's just the beginning. I want to be like Mick Jagger, you know. I did 2 songs with Mick Jagger, and it's amazing because he's always looking at, like, he's 84 and he's doing shows.
It's crazy,
right? I was talking with him and like he was calling me and I couldn't answer because I was with my kids. I said, bro, sorry, he had 4 missed calls, and he said, like, I just had my kid here, and then he was like, yeah, me too. I didn't know he had a kid with 82. Did you know that?
Did he have it recently?
Yeah, with 82 he had a new kid. You know what I mean?
At the 82 years old.
Yes, yeah, he just had and then like I was like, okay, and then he was like saying, like, I was listening to some stuff in Ibiza and I think you should do to this direction. And so the first song I did with him, I had to do 7 different versions.
Yeah.
So that he got pleased with it. The second song that I produced with, which was called Ghost Town, I had to do 10. And I remember that on the 10th version, he called me and I said, like, listen, now I understand why you created a song I can get no satisfaction, because you're never satisfied. This is the 10th version. Like, what else can I do?
Yeah.
But that's amazing because he dived into it. He's really like trying to understand and see what I'm doing, you know? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not because he's the legend that he won't listen to a young guy, you know?
No, absolutely. That's crazy. I'm blown away. I didn't even know you could have kids at 82, by the way. Shout out to Mick Jagger, if you know what I'm saying, dude. If you know what I'm saying.
He's amazing.
Yo, so I do want to talk about your music for a second. I want to ask you a question. Now, this is going to be pretty hard to answer, and I get this sometimes, but if you had to pick 5 of your favorite tracks of your own, what would they be? Your top 5 tracks?
Easy.
No way.
It's fine.
Your top 5 tracks.
Mine?
Yes, yours.
Or overall?
Yours that you've ever released.
Hear Me Now.
Okay.
The IOB.
Okay.
Fuego.
Yes.
Deep Down.
Yeah.
And one that you guys have never heard, which I produce a hip-hop for a hip-hop group. Yeah. It's called Ilusão Cracolândia in Brazil. I am the producer of it and also songwriter, because it had a very important subject in Brazil.
Yeah.
And we had like 20 million views on YouTube in the first day.
What?
Yes, it was madness. It's not electronic, but sorry, can I say one more? My project with the indigenous community, the Future's Ancestral, is also super important. It's not streamable, but it's made to make consciousness.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Wait, so did you think I was asking your 5 favorite songs?
Yeah.
I want to know that too.
So I would say, there's a song that I always wanted, it was mine.
What?
Titanium.
By David Guetta?
And Afrojack.
Yeah.
And Sia.
Yeah.
And it's funny because Afrojack, Nick, he said in an interview that actually he didn't want to sign the song because it was too commercial for him back in days. Mm-hmm. So he pulled out his name.
Yeah.
Wow, I would be crazy. And why I'm telling you this?
Yeah.
Because it's a song that when I was playing in Brazil, when I was playing in China back in 2014, when people didn't know about electronic, everyone could sing that song. I don't know what happened, but everyone in the world knows that song. I don't play in my sets.
Yeah.
I think it's the only guy who could play is David and Afrojack, honestly, on the festival, because it would be a little bit too cheesy, to play it. Mm-hmm. But it's a song that blew it up, it's amazing. But what was funny? That I was thinking about that, and I was performing Hear Me Now with Ziba. And at that moment, it's like, you know what? Actually, if I had to choose between Hear Me Now or Titanium, even though Titanium is bigger, I would choose Hear Me Now because Ziba is always singing with me, and see her, you can never see her.
Well, she did sing with Dave Guetta at Ultra last year, and she came out in that like dress or whatever. Yeah, sure.
Here, Ziba is every weekend with me in Brazil, so he's my partner. We're very good friends. So for the friendship, I would rather 10 times Hear Me Now.
No, I get it. Yep.
Well, the other song I would say, I would only say hits, okay? But like for example, Show Me Love
By Robin S. Classic.
It's like everyone knows that.
Axwell said the same thing.
Oh, did he?
That's one of his all-time favorite songs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. There's a song that I really like, which is Sweet Disposition.
Oh, the OG? Because there's a few remixes of that.
No, not a remix. It's just like any remix, I would say. But I really like that song because I think it connects with the electronic scene. Even though it's not the electronic version, I think it's a song that it's timeless. I really like it. I would say, for example, okay, Fatima Yamaha, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just doing now a version with Khalid. On it. So when you have like Deep Down, is also a rebrand of a song that exists. So when I really want to, I also try to find a way to do it in my version of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of songs that I don't know how to say, like only 5. I would say 10. But yeah, man. I mean, like I really like Pride, Line. I did the verse.
I love that one. Yeah, I like the one you did too. Argy, he made a remix of yours too. That's pretty good. That one's got a heavier in the beginning.
So, there's so many good music that honestly, like I would say, like, levels.
I mean, classic, timeless. One of mine, I actually showed him this song, is Lady by Mojo.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. All-time tune. Literally all-time tune. The hip-hop guy is a dance music fan now.
Of course.
Let's go. We love that.
It's amazing,
Yo, listen, man, I appreciate you coming in today, by the way. Much love to you, brother. For real. You're the man, and I'm going to take you up on that offer to come to Carnival on my birthday.
Birthday, right? Yeah, I mean, like, you really should.
Seriously.
I think it's not only for, like, your birthday and having fun of that, but I think it's also good for the mindset of your project.
Yeah, 100%. We need to come experience it, and I'll be happy to come hang out and do that with you, man. So much love to you. Thank you.
Respect, yeah.
Everyone else, peace.